Welcome back to Warhammer Weekend Times, everybody. I'm Stan, your host, and today we've got the battle for Blackfire Pass. I am going to be playing as the Grand Principality of Reikland, and my opponents are going to be Moxie, playing as the Night Goblins, and Dodged It, playing as the Orcs and Goblins. But let's go ahead and go over the army compositions really fast, guys, and start the battle because it does start off very, very fast. But Dodge It's got a couple units of Orc Boar Big Guns. He's got a spider, or a giant spider unit over here. Comes with 3 spiders on huge scaling. Over here, he's got a couple units of Orc Boar Big Guns. He's got some Harboth Black Mountain Boys as well, some Forest Goblin Archers, and then a couple units of Rugged Armored Orcs. In the back, he's got a couple units of Black Orcs, and then I believe he's got a couple units of Goblin Wolf Riders over kind of on his left flank. Over here from Moxie's army, he's got a couple units of Ogres, definitely going to be the stopping power and the killing power in his army. He's also got about 4 units of Night Goblin Archers, so nearly 1,000 Night Goblin Archers that he's going to be bringing to the field, and then about 5 units of regular Night Goblins, so he's bringing over 2,000 Night Goblins. That's going to be a lot to deal with. In the back, he's also got a couple units of Oglakan Wolf Boys, and then a unit of Harboth Black Mountain Boys, which is going to be a multiple HP unit as well. So he's bringing some pretty tough units, and then some pretty numerous units, and in the front he's also got a couple units of Night Goblin Fanatics. I think he's got about 3 or 4 units of these, and these can do a lot of damage to infantry. Over here for my army, I have a couple units of Demigryph Knights. I've also got some Outriders as well, about 2 units of these, and a couple units of Reiksguard Knights. Over here, I've got some Bright Wizards, a couple units of Dismounted Reiksguard and Dismounted Reiksguard with Halberds. I've also got a Steam Tank, which I usually don't bring, but it turns out they're extremely durable and very, very strong. It gets a lot of kills this game. I'm also bringing a Hellstorm Rocket Battery, which is struggling to find a decent line of sight onto either of these armies. Over here, I've got one unit of handgunners, and then a couple units of Master Engineers with repeater handguns. I've got an Empire Mortar. I've also got a couple units of Great Swords, and then a unit of Knights of the White Wolf. And those are going to be the armies, guys. Let's go ahead and go full speed and watch this unfold. But yeah, my Hellstorm Rocket Battery is struggling to get a line of sight on this kind of blob. I really should have deployed it up a little bit farther so it wouldn't be trying to fire over the heads of my dismounted Reiksguard. But Moxie is going to be charging up his units of Night Goblin Fanatics. I'm going to be charging in with my Demigryph Knights. I think I'm going to get a couple kills on these Night Goblin Fanatics, but they are going to slide by and hit my my right flank with my Dismounted Reiksguard, and just look at this. Just do a ton of damage to them. My Bright Wizards are going to be firing at the ones that were approaching my main line, but they are going to break very quickly from the gunfire that I had from my Master Engineers. But look, all these Night Goblins are just going to go berserk, and their morale is going to go up to heroic, which is something I haven't really seen before. But again, I don't really use a lot of these Berserker units, but it does look like they are just going to be flying around. He's going to get involved in my Bright Wizard unit, and that's going to be really bad for me. I'm going to fire at them with my Master Engineers with repeater handguns, and hopefully pick off these Night Goblins before they can do too much. It does look like they lost their Berserk status, and they're going to be shaken, and hopefully I'm going to get them to rout very, very soon. But then I am going to be charging up with my Demigryph Knights, and hopefully hitting one of Moxie's really weak units of Night Goblins. But look at all these arrows flying in as well. I am going to flatten that Night Goblin unit, but just a ton of arrows just flying in and hitting my Demigryph Knights. I am going to kind of pull them back out, but again, all these arrows coming in, just swarms of arrows. It's like bees or wasps or something, and I'm going to hit the back of these Night Goblins as well, but he's going to charge up with his Ogres, and I want to get out of there very quickly because my Demigryph Knights are not going to fight Ogres too well in melee. I'm going to charge up my Reiksguard Knights and do a bit of damage to his Rugged Armored Orcs, but again, I don't want to get too involved against some of these skirmisher units because they can be cavalry killers, especially against my Knights of the White Wolf, which don't really have high armor, and my Outriders, which over there you can kind of see I've lost a few already. I want to keep them away from those range units as much as I can. Really good shot coming in from my Conqueror Steam Tank, doing a bit of damage. I'm really, really impressed with the cannon that it has on it. It's very difficult to control, though. The Conqueror Steam Tank kind of just does whatever the Conqueror Steam Tank wants to do, so it has a free will. I am going to get a good shot in with my Hellstorm Rocket Battery, kind of really dodged its left flank over here. Gonna get another volley off, hit a lot of these 2 HP units, these Orc Biggins and these Harboth Black Mountain Boys, and do quite a bit of damage to that flank over here. I'm going to charge again in with my Reiksguard Knights Bodyguard, or I'm sorry guys, these are just my Reiksguard Knights, into these Night Goblins. They're going to be shaken, take a little bit of damage, and as you can see, Dodge It is going to begin to descend upon my units. My Empire Mortar is really not doing very much. I don't know if I'm having some issue with just where it's sitting, with getting any kind of shots off, but you can see these arrows coming are not going to be good. They're going to pick off the light artillery crew very, very quickly. Over here, my Bright Wizards are going to be firing away into these ogres. Really good shot there. Looks like I singed a couple ogres. But you can just see this entire battle is unfolding very, very quickly. There's just stuff happening all over the map. We're going to slow this down just a little bit. Here comes a really good shot from one of my Bright Wizards into these Night Goblins. These ogres, again, are going to be smashing in to my dismounted Reichsguard. Some more of... It looks like I'm firing with my Hailstorm Rocket Battery right into this unit in this kind of blobbed up area of these Oglakon Wolf Boys. I want to get rid of these light cav as quickly as I can. They're going to be very good at harassing some of my more important troops like my Bright Wizards and my Master Engineers, the Peter Handguns. These are going to be extremely valuable for getting rid of the morale of these Orcish units. Orcs typically have very low morale, especially once their general goes down, so I'm going to try and use that to my advantage. I am severely outnumbered, so that is going to kind of have to be what I'm going to have to focus on in this battle. We do have a big cav engagement coming over here, or happening over here. I'm going to be moving my Knights of the White Wolf a little bit out of that engagement, along with my Reichsguard Knights Bodyguard and my Demigryph Knights. As soon as I get a little bit of distance, I'm going to charge right back in again, though, and this is going to be a really big cav charge for both sides. His Orc Bacons are going to be charging into my Reichsguard Knights Bodyguard, my Demigryph Knights, and my Knights of the White Wolf. Knights of the White Wolf definitely shine when it comes to a melee engagement and to charging in. However, they're extremely vulnerable to skirmisher fire. Even weaker skirmisher fire, like from the Goblin Archers, can do a bit of damage, especially considering they're about 3,000 gold to field. I think they're about 3,000 gold to field. They are, at least right now, in the 1.01 meta, which is the version of the game that we're playing on right now. But my Reichsguard Knights Bodyguard, I'm sorry guys, my dismounted Reichsguard and my Greatswords over here are going to I'm sorry guys, there are no dismounted Reichsguard over here. I thought there were some in that unit. I guess, oh, here they are. There's some halberd units over here. But I'm going to be kind of trying to hold the line. At this point, the line is kind of all over the place. Definitely a lot going on. I am going to be pressing very hard with my cavalry, trying to get an advantage. But however, I am going to get kind of caught up in some of these melee engagements, and that's going to really go to Dodge Dit's advantage. He's going to be able to be firing in with those Red-Lug Armored Orcs, those crossbow units, and these weaker Forest Goblin Archers. Even though they're only hit for like 4 or 5, those arrows will do quite a bit of damage when there's so many of them, so that's something I definitely need to watch out for. My Reichsguard Knights Bodyguard are going to be charging into the flanks of these Harbath Black Mountain Boys, hopefully getting some damage done to them, but I don't think I'm going to get anything too effective done there. I don't think they're going to drop their lances. My Master Engineers with the Peter Handguns are going to be routing here. That's not what I want. These Oglakon Wolf Boys are going to be routing, however, in response, and my Outriders are just going to be sitting here. This is not where I want them at all. I need to be getting on my micro. My micro this game was really kind of all over the place, guys. I will say that. I was definitely outnumbered, and it kind of became difficult to manage all of my cavalry. This is a very wide battlefield, as you guys can see. And it looks like I'm going to get a good charge with my Demigryph Knights, doing a bit of damage to these Forest Goblin Archers, hopefully doing some damage to them, and moving on down to these Red-Lug Armored Orcs if I'm lucky. But I don't know where my steam tank is. Right here it is. It's just kind of doing its own thing. Like I said, guys, it's very difficult to control. Once it gets into melee, it kind of sits there, and it can do a lot of damage in melee, but it's very difficult to make it do consistently what you want it to do, whether that be firing from its cannon or actually engaging and running units down in a melee engagement. So my Reichsguard Knights Bodyguard are going to get charged by these Orc Biggins. That is definitely going to go to the Orcs in that engagement, as his Black Orcs are going to be descending down upon my cavalry. It does look like he's really starting to curl up my my flank over here. I'm going to get a really good charge, it looks like, with my Demigryph Knights. I might get a good shot into these back of these Black Orcs, hopefully doing a lot of damage. He's going to be turning them around and counter-charging, but I'm going to charge in, do a bit of damage to them. Looks like the penetration on those lances are going to be really devastating did a lot of damage to that Black Orc unit there. He is going to be charging up, however, behind me with his regular armored orcs. These are going to be a multiple HP unit. I believe they are. I do know the Harboth I'm sorry, guys. The Harboth orc archers are, but I think that the regular armored orcs are as well. Oh, I know one of them for sure is. Over here, I do have my dismounted Reiksguard with halberds beginning to chew on this spider. It is going to go down very quickly. That big of a hitbox and that many halberds sticking into you that quickly with a cav bonus is going to make short work of any kind of large mounted cavalry force, kind of like that over there. But over here, it does look like Moxie has kind of a mass of Night Goblins. I have my Conqueror Steam Tank in a really good position to start firing in. I think he's going to start firing. Let's hope. Let's hope what he does. Here he goes. He's going to fire. Really good shot hitting there into these Night Goblins, doing a lot of damage to them. Some of them are going to get back up, more than I would like to, but I still felt very good about that shot. I think he might be getting another shot off very soon. It's quite possible. However, it does look like over here that some Goblin Wolf Riders are going to be descending upon some of my forces. However, it looks like his Black Orcs are going to be in the way. Another good shot off coming on from my my Steam Tank. Half my words don't even make sense right now, guys. I'm sorry. I am very much coffeed up, so I'm a little excited for this. But my Steam Tank is doing an okay job picking off some Night Goblins. Hopefully I can get him in this melee engagement. Look like he's going to slowly move and meander around. He has a very wide turning radius. That's about as tightly as he can turn. I'm going to charge my Demigryph Knights, however, into the flanks of these Harboth Black Mountain boys, killing a few of them, but definitely not enough. My dismounted Reiksguard with halberds are going to be fighting against them bravely, but looks like they definitely are going to lose this melee engagement. The ogres over here are still very strong. It looks like they're picking off some of these great swords. Definitely, these great swords are not going to be any match for these huge multiple HP ogres. Really good shot, however, from my Conqueror Steam Tank, doing a bit of damage to them, but all of them are going to be getting back up and hopefully getting back into the fray. Or for Moxie, hopefully not for me. But it looks like that's exactly what they're going to be doing. They're going to be pursuing some of my units that I have left. My Demigryph Knights are pretty much all I have left in terms of really good killing power, and my Conqueror Steam Tank. But again, like I said, guys, it is very difficult to make it do what you want to do when you want to do it. It has kind of a mind of its own, so I'm going to kind of be at the mercy of how well it wants to do whatever it wants to do. But anyway, guys, the Goblin Night Archers, I'm sorry, guys, the Night Goblin Archers are going to be firing away into my dismounted Reiksguard with halberds. Like I said, guys, my micro in this game was very bad, but just tons and tons of archers firing in. Have very high armor on these dismounted Reiksguard, but it's just not going to really do enough to prevent them from dying. He is going to be moving, it looks like, his archers into a better position to be firing into my line. My Steam Tank is still here, slowly trudging along, just fast enough to avoid getting swung at by these Orc Biggins. He could probably charge in and get a good charge bonus off on me, but that Steam Tank has taken quite a bit of a beating this game, so I'm actually pretty proud of how well it's endured. But Moxie is getting his Night Goblin Archers ready to fire into my dismounted Reiksguard, and here it goes, guys. Here comes all of these just tiny little arrows, but doing a ton of damage to me. You can see my numbers are dropping very quickly from that volley, and he is going to start firing again. I think he's going to start firing again. It looks like he's going to be moving up some of these Night Goblins again at a closer range. He is going to be charging in behind me, however, with some Goblin Wolf Riders and some Orc Boar Biggins. It does look like that's going to help him thin my units out a little bit as well. However, I'm going to take that charge, going to pick up one of those Orc Boar Biggins, and they're going to take just arrows to the face, just crazily, and then they're just going to immediately rout. And I didn't see them beginning to rout. They just went from full to routing, and I don't know if that had to do with my Conqueror Steam Tank. I saw it explode right here on the rocket launcher. It did just only 1% damage, but I think that was significant enough to cause my dismounted Reiksguard to rout. Another shot coming in, looks like picking off some of these Orc Boar Biggins. See, sometimes it fires, sometimes it doesn't. It does what it wants to do. Definitely seems like when it gets engaged in melee, it starts to, to fire less often and kind of go by this very kind of methodical driving around and then doing these kind of short jumps. It kind of operates a lot like a chariot, in my opinion, but it's, again, a very slow-moving unit, so running it around is not too useful, just from the fact that other melee units can usually catch up to it. Now, this is really bad right here. I am getting just surrounded by ogres, by night goblins, by Harboth Black Mountain Boys, and just a whole bunch of different orcish units, and I think it's going to start doing what I was talking about, where it just kind of starts running through them. Here it goes. It's starting it. Here we go. And it just does a bunch of damage to these orcs. A lot of them are going to get back up, but it's definitely going to start thinning out the numbers. These ogres are going to kind of block it and get in front of it, and I think ogres have a high mass. So, see, it's not pushing quite so far, but it's still being able to kind of stack that damage one after another, and it's going to chew through about 3 ogres right there on that kind of side of that melee clump. I do still have some great swords here. It looks like I've got a handful of dismounted Reiksguard fighting very, very bravely against these black orcs. They are just surrounded. They're shaken. I don't blame them. They're exhausted. But it does not look like they're probably going to be going home. Looks like they're probably going to be eaten by orcs. But my great swords are doing an okay job against these black orcs. It does look like Moxie has moved up his Night Goblin archers into a pretty good position as well. He's going to put them at the pretty much at the rear of my great swords and fire straight into their backs. I don't think you get a defense skill, roll for any kind of arrows anyway. So I think usually just with great swords, it's always just the armor. So I don't think shooting into their backs is going to be any more than any more effective than shooting into their front. But it very well could be. I don't know exactly how all these mechanics work, but lots of arrows coming in, just picking off my great swords very quickly, and they're going to go from fairly steady or shaken all the way to routing, and they're going to be fighting to their death. And that is going to end that unit of great swords very quickly. Definitely took a lot of friendly fire from his own archers, but at this point it really doesn't matter. After losing those 2 guys right there, all I've got left are these demigryphs, 2 demigryph knights, which they do have a shield, so taking those little goblin archer arrows from the front is not going to really be too big of an issue from them. They actually did a very good job this whole game at actually enduring those archer fires. You can see very kind of steady streams of archer fires coming in, or arrow fires coming in. But my steam tank, again, is going to be kind of just meandering around, kind of doing its little bursts like that there and again, picking off some of these multiple HP units. A lot of these units, I almost might even argue like all of these excuse me guys, a little stutter, all of these units in this mass are multiple HP, so just the fact that the steam tank is able to take out several of them in each little jump kind of is a good testament to how strong the steam tank is, and just from the fact that it's taken such a beating. I mean, it's taken these arrows, it's taken a ton of damage from these ogres. Ogres definitely have a very high HP value. What are these guys firing? Oh, there's one dismounted Reiksguard is going to be running away. Don't worry, guys, we're not going to miss anything with the tank just yet. But look at all these arrows coming in to pick off this one little dismounted Reiksguard. All of these all of these Night Goblin archers definitely did a good job. Definitely don't underestimate numerous but weak archers. They can do a lot of damage, especially to lightly armored units. A little steam toot from the steam tank there. As I believe it is going to try and take aim into the Night Goblins. But let's see what it does. All these Night Goblins are just firing straight into it. I don't know how effective they're going to be because of the high armor, but it looks like the Conqueror Steam Tank is going to fire in there and do a lot of damage to these Night Goblin archers. And a lot of them are actually going to get back up, and I was surprised at that. That actually a lot of the ones in the center, it looks like maybe maybe they may have not been in the center. Maybe they were on the outer rims and got kind of knocked into there. But I'm going to be able to kind of make the steam tank fire again fairly quickly, but it's going to miss its main shot. It's going to kind of get a good amount of unit penetration from these Night Goblins or into these Night Goblins. You can kind of see there it going through a few of them, but then you see kind of the bolt flying way in the distance, and there goes, it explodes. And at that point, Moxie was pulling his Night Goblins back to a safer distance. He still has all of these ogres. I think he's got like 20-something ogres left. There's still a lot of these Ruglug Armored Orcs, and I don't know. I mean, I could have just sat and let the steam tank fight, but honestly, I don't know how much longer it would have stayed alive. or if it did stay alive for a lot longer. I don't know how long it would have taken to chew through these units, so I didn't want to just watch a steam tank just kind of run around for 5 minutes. I don't think anybody does. But anyway, guys, that was the battle. I definitely want to do another scenario like this with maybe 5 people, maybe 2 Empire factions, and then, you know, 3 players playing as the Orcs and Goblins or Night Goblins, or kind of a mix of the 2. But that was a very fun battle. I've got a lot of kills on my end. Let's take a look at them. I've got 683 kills with my Demigryph Knights. That's a lot of kills. Now, this is inflated, though, because a lot of these kills are going to be Night Goblins. And we're on huge scaling, so there's 250 Night Goblins in each unit, so that's a lot of Night Goblins to kind of charge through. And then my Knights of the White Wolf didn't do very good, only at 76. Reichsguard Knights getting 189 kills, that's pretty good. 219 with my Hellstrom Rocket Battery, that's pretty good. I think I probably could have gotten more, kind of like I said at the beginning of the game, if I had positioned it a little farther back. I probably would have done much better with it. However, my Empire Mortar only getting 3 kills is absolutely terrible. My Mortar would have been very useful against those huge clusters of low armor archers, but I probably just should have deployed it back a little more too. It was fairly, you know, close to my front line. If we go down, my Conqueror Steam Tank got 516 kills. That's a ton. My other Demigryph unit getting 216, and my Greatsword's getting 149. And then kind of a, you know, mixed bag in between. Definitely some units didn't get very many kills at all. Dismounted Reichsguard only getting 17. Not very many at all. Some, like my Bright Wizard's getting 40. That's pretty unacceptable as well, considering they're 5,000 gold. Now, some of those units it did kill were ogres, but it doesn't make it worth it. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys liked this battle. This map is available in the map packs that I put up for download. If you guys are interested in playing on it, it should be Blackfire. Technically, this map is in the Darklands, and that's why I didn't name it Blackfire Pass, because it's not technically there, but upon playing on it, it definitely looks like Blackfire Pass. So, but anyway, guys, like I said, I hope you guys liked it. There's definitely more Warhammer content coming soon, and that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see y'all next time.